If you're in traditional therapy but you're not getting the results you're looking for, it might be time to make the switch to hypnotherapy. Here is South Florida hypnotherapist Sheena Eizmendiz. Sheena, it is really fun to have you on the show. It's great to have you here. I was telling you earlier, all the years I've been a TV host, and it's now like 50 years.
That long?
It feels that long. I've never, ever talked to a hypnotherapist, ever. You're the first one. I'm sort of excited, but also nervous. I'm going to be asleep in 2 minutes. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Yeah.
And you look great for 50
Thank
plus
you.
years.
A lot of Botox, a lot of work, you know. I think people have an idea of hypnosis, and, you know, we were joking about this as, you know, the look at the clock, you're getting sleepy sort of deal.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
obviously not that. How would you best describe hypnosis and what you do?
Dave, it's a natural state. It happens every day. It happens to everyone. It's a state of, more than a natural state, it's a state of focused attention. That's what it is. So in other words, the best example that I can give you is when you're reading a book, when you're driving, when you're really engrossed or focused as you are right now in our interview. And that's pretty much relative to a state of hypnosis. And that's really what it is. There's no other mystery to it.
Really?
Really?
It seems like it's way more
I know, it
intense
seems
than
that way, yeah.
So, okay,
not.
well then what's the sort of subtle difference from just being focused in this conversation to be truly being hypnotized? What's like the next step?
Well, the next step is the intention.
Okay.
What are you focused on? In our line of work, we work with people that want to address their issues, their challenges, goals that they want to meet. So really, that's what makes the difference. It's just what are you focused on? And so we help you. What we try to do is we access your subconscious. It's almost like we plant seeds, and we do those, you know, directly in the subconscious. And we plant little seeds of suggestions or modifications of your behavior or things that you just want to address.
So I have a million questions. So how does it work? Okay, so after you've been hypnotized, is the person asleep or their eyes are
Not
closed?
all the time.
Okay.
And that's a big misconception. Hypnosis is not sleep.
Okay.
So as a matter of fact, in the office, we do induce it through relaxation, just because of our setting. However, that's not required. One can pretty much be hypnotized in front of a stage. You could be hypnotized while you're running. Again, state of focused attention.
Okay.
Anything that you're doing. So that's not necessarily true. But sometimes people do fall asleep just because they're so relaxed and so receptive.
So okay, so then how do they apply that? So if I'm getting hypnotized because I have a fear of flying or whatever,
Okay,
right? Which I would imagine is probably a common one.
Very common.
Okay, so talk me through that one. So how does it happen? What's the application of it? How do people get over their fear?
Well, one of the things that we do is that we combine hypnosis with something called NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. And that's where we set certain anchors. And that's pretty much, those are the seeds that I was referring to earlier. So what we do is we try to find out what's happening to you as far as your behavior, how it's affecting you emotionally. Clearly, that's going to affect you mentally. So what we do is we try to get to the root of that problem by simply just addressing the modification of the behavior, whether it's fear of flying, as you mentioned. So what we do is we leave you certain embedded commands that you can later use, which we call post-hypnotic suggestions. Those are suggestions for later usage. And that could be as simple as maybe snapping your fingers, or a word or a phrase, or anything that we leave embedded in your subconscious that you can use later on
That's
to
what I was gonna
interrupt
ask you.
behavior.
Okay, but so I'm glad you said that, because so when I use it later on, am I consciously using it, or is my subconscious using
You're
it?
consciously using it at the beginning, only
Okay.
because in order to reframe, in order for you to create a new condition, a new habit, you have to consciously use it. And when I say consciously use it, it may just be once or twice. After that, it just becomes a natural subconscious behavior.
And how many, I guess for every person it's different, but how long does it take to see results? If I have a fear of flying, I go to you one time, I go to you 10 times?
And that's very possible. It depends on the extent of either it's traumatic. Sometimes people have, what we call PTSD,
Right.
post-traumatic stress disorder. And so they have an onset episode that happens based on a previous trauma. So depending on what they're coming for, this could be done in maybe 3 or 4 sessions, sometimes more. It just depends on the approach and what we decide to do.
And I'm sure that people are so grateful, because I would imagine a lifetime of being afraid of something or just a behavior that's not working for them, and then they come see you for a month or whatever it is, and then they get their life back in some capacity, right?
Personally, it's very rewarding. And I think it's not just for the client that works with us, but for ourselves, because we see that the transformation is effective very, very quickly. And it's long-term. It really is. It's long-term.
So why do you think that that more people don't do it? Why do people fall back on talk
That's
therapy?
a good question. That is. Perhaps one of the reasons is because even though hypnosis is something that now nowadays it's more of a demand, as a matter of fact, one who's studying psychology, you have to take as a requirement certain credits in hypnosis. So I think as we're opening up to other models and other things, that people are going to be more receptive. Today, as a matter of fact, I think that's why we have such a high demand. It's because people are looking for something different.
Right.
Unlike talk therapy, where you can end up going for 30, 50, sometimes even years of therapy. We don't work on symptom, we work on finding the cause, the underlying cause of the problem. And that's the big difference between one thing and the other.
So I keep defaulting to fear of flying, but what are some of the other more common reasons that people might come see you?
Drug addiction.
Okay.
Alcohol addiction. Trauma, sexual abuse, weight loss, smoking, pain management, sports performance, motivation, depression, self-esteem, on and
Wow,
on.
so everything,
There's really
really.
nothing
Yeah,
that we
right.
can't work with.
So you mentioned so many interesting ones. As an athlete, I heard sports performance.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll talk about that off air. I'm going to get a free session out of you.
You got
Because I keep double faulting. It's driving me nuts. But weight loss seems like a
Yes.
really interesting one.
Huge.
Yeah. So again, for every person it's different. But
Right.
what might be an example of what you might tell someone about
Well,
weight loss?
For weight loss, it really depends on where the issue's stemming from. If it's an emotional weight, meaning that the weight that they're carrying is based on something emotional that they're carrying, then we just work the emotions, and let alone the weight starts shedding off. If it's lifestyle behavior, consistency, being determined, or then we work on that as well. So it's a combination of things.
Okay. We have to talk about this. You have a show coming up October 25th
We do.
at Just the Funny. It sounds great. Tell us about it.
Hypnosis is the new black. So what the show is, it's pretty much, it's a little different from our work, obviously,
Right.
in the office. This is more comedy, this is entertainment. However, the application itself, we do hypnosis, and we do it live and on stage with participants that are willing to be hypnotized and laugh a little. And this particular show that we're doing will be, all the proceeds, we're actually donating it to a foundation called Make Them Thrive.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
We love doing things like
So
that.
the theme, Orange is hypnosis is the new black. So it's
Yeah.
like it's a prison theme.
Yes,
Yeah.
we will see. Well, we will all see. Trump.
Okay.
Oh, not only will he be fired, but he'll be going to prison and
Wow.
things like that. Just
How
funny.
fun.
We came
Yeah.
up with with something that would be interesting and get a few laughs.
So cool. So great to meet you. I'm so
Thank
glad that you
you.
came on the show. Definitely come back. If people want to reach you, how can they do that?
Best way to reach us is go online. And our website is miamihypnosiscenter.com.
Okay, Sheena, what a pleasure. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. We'll
Thank
see
you,
you
Dave.
again, okay?
Appreciate it.
You got it.
Have a good one.
All right.